In this video, we're going to learn how to add alternate text to an image in InDesign. This is an excerpt from a podcast I did with Colleen Gratzer. Welcome to the Accessibility Guy channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump into the ring. What about adding alt text? How do you add alt text to an image in InDesign?
Yeah, so so first you have to determine, does this image need alt text? So here these are like decorative, so they don't need alt text, right? But
Yeah.
something like this on the cover, you would want to describe it because it's a meaningful image. So you just right or control click and you go to export options and
Oh,
then go to alt text and then custom. Now with InDesign 2026, this is a pain in the ass because it's got this AI generated alt text generator, enabled by default, and it's trash.
okay.
So the first problem, and I just talked about this in one of my podcast episodes. I did a little bit of a rant about it, but I'll do a shorter rant here. But pretty much it's like when you have this, whatever alt text is here is going to end up in the PDF, right? Do you
Right.
really want somebody to know that it's AI generated content? I mean, that just screams we don't know anything about accessibility, right?
Mhm.
Because why would you want that in there? And I'm like, okay, why would Adobe think anybody would want that in there in the first place? I'm like, maybe so it's letting that they did it, but like it's just you have to take an extra step to go take it out.
Right. And it does it
You know?
automatically, like when you first open it?
Yeah, so if you go into the preferences, InDesign preferences, and then generative AI, you can turn it off. Like there's
I
two
see.
options. So auto generate alt text when placing images, right? And not
Okay.
not pasting images, not pasting. So if you copy and paste from one InDesign document to another, that doesn't affect it. It's when you place the image, like you actually go and import and place the image into InDesign that it would do that. And then it's add AI generated content. And I don't know why it says tag because it's not a tag. Alt text is not a tag, and AI generated content is not a tag. It is simply just more text in the alt text.
Right.
But it says add AI generated content tag for auto generated alt text. So
Interesting.
even apparently though, even if you like keep them off, which you want to do when you have no documents open, right? But you could inherit a document where somebody else had them turned on, and even though you have them turned off, it could start replacing the alt text in your document. I've heard from, after I put out that episode, I heard from so many people that work with teams, different teams of designers, and they're like, well, I guess somebody had it turned on and then we had it turned off, and someone didn't get the memo, and we had to go in and replace all the alt text with the original alt text because the AI alt text generator like overwrote everything.
Oh no.
Yes,
Wow.
so
So is
you
there
have
a
to.
way in InDesign to review like alt text for all the images at once? I'm just curious. I feel like I don't know why these tools don't have stuff like that where you could, in a perfect world, right? I'm envisioning another panel where it's like view alt text and you can see the image and
Right.
alt text for the whole document. I'm just curious. Does something like that exist in here, or am I just
No, and
wishing?
Dax Castro had an alt text script. Luckily, I still have it, but he's not. I don't know if he's selling it again. I think the website moved, but
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's available for sale again. But I use that with clients because what it does is it's an InDesign plugin, and then it runs a script and it takes all of the alt text from all of the images and it puts it into a spreadsheet, and then you can send that to a client and have them review it. And I have to do that a lot when they're like going to do a document in Spanish or French or
Nice.
a gazillion other languages. I literally like tell them, here it is in English, put another column for the English, the Russian, the whatever it is, and put it in there so I can copy and paste from it. But
Okay.
it's a very handy spreadsheet. But then there was a companion plugin too that would then let you modify, like after you modify the spreadsheet and all, you could modify the alt text right in the spreadsheet instead of coming in here one by one, which was a huge time saver. And
Right.
then you could import with the other plugin. You would import instead of export. You would import that spreadsheet that you modified into InDesign. And it would already know this alt text goes with this image on this page.
Nice. I'll see if I
Yeah.
can find a link to it and provide it
Yeah. So I don't know
in
if
the
it's
show
available
notes.
again yet, but that's what I was using. That's what I
Okay.
still use. But yeah, I mean, it would be really nice to have something, easier to use within InDesign, like than what InDesign gives us. So
So is it safe to say that you go through and manually check every image for the alt text?
I mean, I'll use that alt text script. I
Okay,
mean,
I got you.
something else though is that like hover over images and see if they have alt text. And
Yeah.
again, you see like how it says AI generated content. So it's not always reliable. But one thing I like to do is I use the Callas PDFGoHTML plugin.
Okay.
It like interprets your documents. So then you click on structure tags and it
Ah.
shows you it's like a visual of your tags tree.
Kind of
So
makes me think of Pack. It kind of looks like Pack a little bit.
yeah,
There's like the
yeah.
screen
So
reader preview button.
yeah, so it's similar to that. So you can then see like the image and then see the alt text there. But
Okay.
you can't really send this to a client to look at unless you do like a print as PDF, and then send them that. Because you can't send them this because it's a local file in your browser.
Gotcha.
Typically what they'll do is they'll just go and hover over it, but there might be times where you have an image that's on top of another image, like there's a bit of a layer, one's on another layer than another one,
Yeah.
and you can't necessarily see that alt text
Right. That
when
makes
you
sense.
hover.
That concludes today's video with Colleen Gratzer. If you want to find out more information about how I can help you get accessible, if you want to check out the full-length podcast, or if you want to find out more information about Colleen, check out the links below this video. And as always, I can be your champion for inclusion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you over in the next video.